And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Let's see how this goes. It looks like it's dropping frames rather badly. And weirdly, I'm seeing some frame rate issues on my own screen, but the worst of it is actually for you guys. So my preview on OBS looks absolutely terrible, and I'm seeing you guys dropping frames like no tomorrow, and I don't understand why. Yay! When you see my fingers come up, freeze that is, that's when I'm getting really stuck behavior. So I have no clue. You know what I'm going to do? Let's switch over and do Java instead. We'll find out something to do even if we end up doing the wall. I think this is just not acceptable, because I couldn't play in here without dying. Come on, game. I can change direction, but I can't. Uh-oh. Huh. So now... Yep. The only reason I'm not... There we go. Wow. The game wouldn't even let me quit. Okay, so what we're going to do... live screen. Minimize this for you guys. That one out of the way. So we're going to quit this one, and we're going to actually start Java, because this is just not acceptable. Games. Java. The days when karma hates you, you know?
Oh, hello there!
Good morning, I believe. Good morning, Springer, how are you? I was looking at the question of the day in the Discord today, which talks about if there was anything you could change about a storyline in one of your... oh, let's turn this one off. That's going to cause problems. And that one. There we go. So if there was anything you could change in a fictional book to change the storyline, what would it be? Or fictional book or movie, I guess. And very, very good answer. So Springer had referenced doing or changing a bit in How to Train Your Dragon, where one of the main characters has a permanent injury. And I thought that was a great idea. So my response actually... Ah, cool. Yes, sir. Good evening. Yes. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good time zone to you. There we go. And I don't have a face cam on my desktop because, well, clearly that's the top layer at the moment. So I am getting my Minecraft to slowly decide to pop. Slowly, maybe. Kinda, sorta. Let's see. Console window. Are you launching? Yeah, you're launching slowly. We'll get there. It's one of those ones where I never have any patience when I actually need the game to go quick. And it's just doing its own thing that it normally does, so it's not a huge deal. Come on, big. There we go. Alrighty, so I can shut off. Take off this display capture. And you guys see your text back. So I guess we're on the Java server today. Ooh. Refresh. Yeah, let's see. Let's cross our fingers the frame rate on Java is more stable. I mean, it says my CPU was no more than 10%. And now we're down to like half. But I mean, it's text, you know? So... so Shadow says they've added to it. Awesome. Oop, I'm gonna first off sleep. What I was last doing on this world was I was working on the wall. the wall. So just giving you guys a quick update. Nothing super visually notable, but I changed the angle on this little section here just because it used to go over that way. I had actually just taken it straight and then chopped out and gone straight south, but I really didn't like how, well straight that was. I have not yet added to the path blocks, little red dots all over the place, which, there you go, I can see some. I've not added to those yet because my thought was that I was getting thrown by the existence of a current wall, and I figured it might be easier for me just to chop out the current wall and work on the big wall. So, yeah. So I'm going to start with some squirreling errands. I think that's probably the easiest, just to get my head in the game and do a bit of the tech test that we're talking about here. What do we have for blocks? Okay, so I'm just going to dump a bunch of this stuff here. Just like leave it behind so that I can come back and do the wall. Let's sort that out of there. Now the sorting, of course, is not vanilla. That's one of my inventory management mods. I think that's fine there. Hello, chicken. And you remind me, actually, that one of the things we could do if we get stuck. Fantastic Sherlock Fox has been gifted by me all the parts necessary for a chicken cooker, so worst case scenario we can go up over to his base and set up his chicken cooker for him, although I suspect he probably would really rather learn to do that on his own. Hey Bob, proper good morning to you. I thought I saw you pop in just as I went for a reboot. So yeah, we'll see. This frame rate feels more stable in the play. I can actually go forward and stop. It's nice. Whereas in the other one, the reason it took so long to shut out of Bedrock was actually that the game would not let me out. Honestly, I was trying inventory keys, I was trying to back up, I was trying to crouch, hit escape to get out of the game, and it would not. So there's something really screwball at my end when it comes to Bedrock. Now this one could also use an update. So that's another squirrel option, is I could make a change to this one to get it so that all of the stuff gets dumped into the composters by default, which might not be a bad idea. I don't particularly want this farm to stay here long term anyways, so that's part of why I haven't bothered. But there's options. So what I'm going to do is clean these out as a bit of squirrel, and then we'll see where we can go from there. Start with the pumpkins because they're easier. And I have the wrong sound. That's okay, I can handle that. Let's put this up there. So, option sounds. Keep forgetting to change this because in Bedrock I actually have to do it Windows level, and here I can do it in-game. But of course, there's no point in from a Thursday through to a Tuesday running my OBS just to be able to get the monitor sound through. So that, so that means I just have to smarten up a little bit. Okay. Technical difficulties aside, actually we're in a relatively, I would say relatively good mood. I'm kind of stressed out about my camp trip, but that's just the way things go because I have not backpacked in about 30 years. So it's not a strenuous one. Like, it's designed as an introductory backpacking trip for our scouts who have never backpacked before. So I mean, I'm nervous on twofold. There's one for myself, just, can I not really show off, but can I keep up in such a way that I don't feel that I'm making an absolute fool of myself? But another part of it is I'm unfortunately overly concerned on behalf of my son, just because if he doesn't like anything, he telegraphs it quite a lot. He gets that from me. And he also can have some anxiety issues if he's not enjoying a situation. So I'm nervous on his behalf, but feeling a little bit better. Yesterday he actually told me that he was quite excited about the trip. I should say excited, that's not the word for it. far more comfortable with the trip, I guess, than he had been before, which for him is basically the equivalent of looking forward to things. Because we went and bought some pre-packed meals, and one of his concerns had been he wasn't sure what he was going to eat on the trip, and now that he knows, and he's had control over selecting it himself, then that seems to have helped a lot. I was being all bold and saying, hey, I can use one of those lovely little roaring stoves that was made in the 80s or 90s. Very nice piece of equipment, but ours has some issues that make it a little bit janky, and I was nervous about using it. Quite a lot nervous about using it and trying to find every excuse under the sun not to, till Fantastic Sherlock Fox very wisely just said, basically, quit your complaining, and we're not made of money, but we can handle this, so go and buy a proper one, like one that won't make you nervous. Which, I mean, it's environmentally not great in either format, but at least it's not as... They're stable, they're lighter weight, and then this one is actually notably acoustically safer in that respect. It's actually kind of funny when a couple of the reviews of the older stove, and I was looking at them because I'd forgotten about any tips or tricks for shutting it down properly. Some of the older reviews were saying things like, well, you know, OSHA says you need ear protection beyond, I think it was like 80 decibels or something like that. Maybe it was 70. And then this one was tested at about 80 to 85. It's like, okay. And they say, beyond 90 decibels, you need about, maximum 8 hours a day. I'm like, if this is your camp stove, that's kind of sad. So, yeah. Figured that was not in my best interest. That should clear everything up for now, and I can always come back and squirrel with the other stuff later. Let's make this twice as fast, sort of. Whatever. Grab these, put them over here. All I'm doing that is turning these into bone meal. I actually didn't need this farm at all. Like zero, but that's okay. Another option that I've been thinking about doing, which is something we could pull together, is I've got the sheep farm here. Things get full, right? So I probably should consider putting together storage either right above or more usefully some sort of storage sorter system that will actually take all the various colors and sort them for me. My brain hasn't exactly figured that one out yet, how I want to do it or where I want to do it. The where isn't necessarily a problem, and I could add a shulker unloader and stuff, but that doesn't stop the original farm from overflowing, or well, not overflowing, backing up. So I need to figure out what to do there. Then down here we've got lots of carrots, so we don't have a whole lot of space left in this farm, but this has taken us quite a while to get here, so I'm not too worried about it overflowing. So the current Geek Out talks about movies. 6 films in which a prom scene appears. The only movie that he can think of is Back to the Future, and I'm not sure if that's properly a prom. Yep, that's a prom in the original Back to the Future, because he had to, Marty had to get his mom, or his future mom and his future dad, to like each other at the prom. So, yeah. And then he was doing the music for the prom dance. I guess Carrie has one. Carrie has one. And the other one, Greece, I believe, has a prom celebration, which is sort of the final culminating scene, which in their case they had a full-on like fair sort of thing with rides and whatnot. Some of the old kit is great. It's still fantastic stuff. Like, there's a lot of people that swear by it, particularly the slightly newer versions of the stove I'm using, but it's just, if it takes off, people joke about it sounding like a jet engine. Actually, there was the what was it? My favorite one I saw when I was looking yesterday was an acoustic description where supposedly many backpackers in that particular person's backpacking group would describe the sound is somewhere between either a jet engine or the space shuttle taking off. Which, the other thing, good point they made, was that if one is looking to head to, if one is looking to head to the outdoors for calm and quiet and to see, nature and stuff like that, using human beings to scare off nature is probably a little bit opposite to your original goal. Oh, speaking of that, I guess... Well, no, maybe not. I was going to say, if you're going to count balls, then they also have the... Oh, rip. I should know this. The Yule Ball in the Harry Potter movies. So, I mean, we could count that, but on the other hand, Stranger Things isn't a movie either. Unless I missed something. So, yeah. Okay. All I was planning to do in the other world was to cut down a whole lot of mangrove wood and to take down the part of the village I don't need. So squirreling here isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I probably will still do a whole bunch of tree chopping because Fantastic Sherlock Fox said he could use some wood. I don't think I actually have any mangrove or cherry in this world. I might have one cherry sapling, but I don't think I have any mangrove at all. So that might be an interesting option as well, is to go looking for those things. You're right, extended episodes are kind of difficult. I mean, I guess one could also argue too, is made-for-TV movies really a movie? Because movies used to be roughly defined by length, right? Okay, let's clean out this one since we're here. Oh, I finally did get the, what do you call it? So, these do work. You can't actually apparently, what's the word, waterlog something? It looks like it has to be a full block, so these two aren't waterlogged. They're just sitting there, because they can, I guess. But across the top of that, let me just pick these up. 1, 2, and this one. No! Well, I can fix that. There we go. But across the top of these, I've just put trapdoors. And purely because I just wanted to make sure that I could keep walking across here. And that's really all it was. So now we have... They grow. I don't need them to grow. Once again, that was more of a learning process, but they grow, so that's good news. One of those I did because I could, I guess. And actually, it might be kind of fun, just for silliness factor, to see if I can move the ladder. Maybe, I don't know where. Yeah, I guess that might be a challenge. But, I was thinking it might be also kind of fun just to see if I could put the water up here instead and have it grow all the way down. Actually, even if I put it up here, I'd have a longer space for it to grow than where I've got there. Whatever. It's not important. I got it to work, right? That's the key. Excuse me. Alright. So I've squirreled enough. I'm sorry, sir. You were not invited. Whoops, I missed.
Before I go, there is one thing I'd like. Do you have a recent case? A case, say,
And I guess in this world I've never made any bamboo wood, but I have plenty of space to work with, so I've got those. And then all of this side is bamboo, so I have plenty of bamboo wood. If the fox gets stuck and needs a little bit of wood of some sort, then that's one option. Let's go towards increasing resources then, I suppose. How are we doing on chickens? That's good. Let's throw these in here. Alright. keep thinking I should do something different with this other side, but I just can't bring myself to really worry about it too much. We've got eggs galore. Alright, so we have 6 films in which a prom scene appears. That's the challenge, 6. I think we've got ourselves maybe 3. Oops. Oops. I think maybe, what, High School Musical might have one? I don't know, I'm guessing. Let's skip this one. I'm gonna have to get myself another Geek Out set. Okay, 2 MTV original productions. We've seen that one. We're not very good at that one. There we go. Yeah, we've seen a lot of these, so I definitely am going to need to figure out something else we can do. Okay, let's try this one. Ah, there we go. That'll work. Okay, let's move the question of the day up just a touch so that... Where did I put it? There we go. A little clearer. It'll run into DC's logo, which actually I should be using right now anyways. Where did I find that? This one? Okay, yeah, it's a bit tight. DC's logo. Let's go up. Sure, okay. It's a lot of crazy text on that side, but I think it'll be workable. So today's question of the day is, what food do you know you shouldn't eat, but can't seem to stop yourself? What food's your guilty pleasure? Sound really quiet. Might be your end, I think so. I don't think I'm dropping off. But if there's any particular sounds that we're losing, I can crank them up. Huh. I just changed my volume for myself, and apparently the little scrolly wheel thing on my keyboard that changes the volume is mouse button 99. As I didn't know. Hey, Tim Dog! Yes, no, it is one less step. One of the things I've found, the reason I went with the suffocation method rather than the lava method is twofold. One, I've got more lava than I can shake a stick at, so it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not in a rush for it. The other reason that I've gone this way is it's probably my own imagination, but I find that if I put lava up there, I tend to find I get less drops overall. So you can get the cooked version, which is fantastic, or sometimes I just get it burnt up and it doesn't exist. So that's why I've done it this way. I mean, if I was smart, an SMRT, I would have actually found a way to pump this straight into there so I didn't have to bother carrying it across. But I've yet to fill the chest, so I have no concerns on that front. And I mean, the feathers are just a happy accident, coincidence, because I have more eggs than I can shake a stick at. Let's see, we're emptying this one, but I still have a lot. Which reminds me, I just have a couple of channel point reward things that have been disabled because I was doing Lego, and you kind of can't predict eggs and stuff when I was doing Lego and I wasn't even in the game. 1, 2... No, I'm not singing today. Yuck. Enabled, what's this? So that, okay, that's fine. I guess it was just 2. Okay. Yeah. Oops. Okay, so we have... Looking at materials here just to see what I've got, what I don't have. Okay, I don't have jungle, so I can always grow some of those. I can use more dark, but I've got saplings, so we're fine. Spruce, there's tons of saplings. Acacia, there's tons. Okay, I don't have any cherry or any mangrove. Fantastic Shock Fox says, related to today's question of the day, might help if we put QOTD in front of that when we answer. Oh, welcome back! Thank you. In English. So today's food. Do you know what you shouldn't eat but can't seem to stop yourself? What food is your guilty pleasure? I would like to say cheese. It's not. Trying to figure what I ask for most. Probably chocolate, I think. There's a lot. Yeah, okay. So Fantastic Shock Fox, question on that front. Is it the... I know Cheesies over here is a brand, but just for clarification, some people, I've noticed in which part of the world is it? There's another part of the world that actually call them Cheesies, but in that part of the world they look like cheese puffs. Whereas here we've got stiff ones. Okay, and that says water, which is wrong. Set hydrate to coffee. Whoa! Sorry, it's all in caps, and I don't think my system likes that. And I can't spell.
Hello?
Hello? Try that. There we go. Still a little soul. 120 adventure and build now. Nice. Yeah, on that note, sorry, I keep hitting the wrong keys today. Better than getting stuck, because that was a very bedrocky thing. I'd love to go on a 120 adventure, but today I'm playing on the SMP, so that's not likely. Ooh, potatoes? So even, let's hypothetically say then that we did say my mom used to call them chunked, but a cut up, peeled, boiled potato. Is that something that would still be part of your guilty pleasure? That's an interesting one. I like it. What was I thinking of? I was thinking of wood, right? Wood. Ah, little garlic, little salt, and I'm happy. Yeah, I'd add a little bit of butter to that. Here! Present and accounted for. Hello. Hey Benson, how goes? Good to see you guys back. Thank you very much for dropping by. I appreciate it a lot. So let's just go with some refill stuff. I guess we'll do some choppity chop. And we'll do it out in front of the castle because we have no real need to be there. So we've got oak's okay because it's on the other side. Dark oak I think is still on the other side, so we'll skip those ones. So I need to do some cherry because I don't have any of that. Definitely need to do some mangrove. Never take the whole thing. Just in case something goes wrong. Same thing with the acacia. Yes, it's orange. But I only have a few pieces of that one. And I think that's about the size of it. Oops. Oh. So, one of the things I was thinking about is I've got villagers. Great. I don't need the whole thing. So I was actually wondering about maybe turning some of these other buildings on this side into storage so we'd end up having to come across this way instead of the other one, which would keep the iron farm going, which is fine, and possibly some of the carrots and whatnot, but we might potentially lose things like the pumpkin farm, yippee-doo, and possibly the wheat farm, so that's not great, but make better use of these. Because I know I was starting out with wanting them to be semi-accurate, but I need a use for them, and that's where my brain's going. So when item sorters are a thing, right? Anyhow, squirrel, let's eat and get out of here. I can do it, but if Fantastic Shock Fox happens to be available, catching some sort of new title might be accurate, and I don't know if you're able to change the, or either of you, I don't know if you're able to change the tags we've got going. Because the tag's way wrong right about now. We're neither solo nor are we bedrock. There. Oh, no. What was that? Huh. I'm not sure what that key's tied to. I'm going to pretend that isn't me. I wanted to... Oh. Didn't I have this as a toss key? Where'd my toss key go? Oh. Out there. Okay. Bedrock and Java right now, I've changed the Q key away from being throwing things so that I didn't throw my tools and armor, and now I can't seem to find the Q key when I want it. Let's start with... Oh, and I have plenty of bone meal, so that's handy. Let's go this one over there. Now let's give this one a bunch of space and go over here. Perfect, thank you very, very much. Alright, let's throw that one over there. I got one of each, they can race each other, and I'm just going to grab some bone meal from our machine. I have 3 different places where it's making bone meal right now. This one is made out of the melons and pumpkins, and then on the far side I've got the seeds from the wheat farm turning into bone meal, and then just an inconvenience drop off for excess poppies from the iron farm. So we have more bone meal than we really know what to do with. I mean, maybe that's something I could just throw in the free chicken shack. It'll be like free stuffs are us or something. Okay. And I figure in all this crazy grass, where did I put the saplings? I honestly, I think I mentioned this a million times before, but I think too high grass is a weed. Like 1 high grass, fine, but 2 high grass is just a weed. Okay. Let's cut some cherry. Well, that was cheap. That's nice. Alright. Oops. I guess we'll get the odd cherry leaf block because I wasn't thinking about that. I'm using a silk touch axe. Live and let die, view to a kill, new... Oh, whoops.
Hello.
Hey JF Bird Blue, how you doing? Good to see you. It was less than a half hour before some of our other favorites are on, so I was actually quite surprised to see you. Pleased that you're here. Spoiled me as always. You're welcome aboard. Enjoy your drive, and please be safe about it. So the Geek Out changed... No, we're still in miscellaneous theme songs. What did we miss here? Oh, live and let die and view to a kill. Right. That actually wasn't bad for one tree. 19. Whereas I got like 6 on Bedrock, so yeah, we're doing good. Alright, so I'll let those do their thing, and let's move on. Where'd the orange sapling go? Seriously? Aha, it's over there. This particular meadow, prairie, whatever thing is very, very hollow. And so there's lots of critters below the surface. What is... Oh. Go. I don't tend to collect leaves. I've yet to decorate with leaves. I probably should at some point, but I can always farm the ones I need when I need them. Alright, so then this one... I don't have more saplings from it yet, so let's drop that. Rinse and repeat. Throw any saplings over here. Saplings and sticks. Go. Alright. Time for me to bite the bullet a bit and attempt to grow this one. Excellent. So I'm going to take it all. I don't really need it all. At the moment, I mean, I can take it all except not the leaves, I guess, maybe. This is a very inefficient way of doing a lot of the farming, but it works for pleasure and headspace. Alrighty, Roo. It's kind of like when having the tech issues earlier. It's sort of like having the what's the word? It's sort of like my computer has decided it's going to go and think about backpacking as well, rather than actually doing anything useful. I want this one. There we go. Alright, so this way I can do this a little more effectively. Excuse me. Aha. The aha not being the cough, the aha being the Alfred Hitchcock. That's one that I do know. For a change. There's a lot of these, oops, there's a lot of these I don't know, but Hitchcock's one that I haven't watched a whole ton of his movies, but it's only asking for 2, so I can handle that. But I'm going to leave it for everybody else first. Actually, funny part is, as I said that, I can only think of 2, and I used to know about a half dozen at least. So that sounds boastful, but if I can't put my, put my proof where my mouth is, then it doesn't really count. So the geek out right now is 2 films by Alfred Hitchcock. And the question of the day is guilty pleasure food. The one, I think maybe one of the ones I like, I would say cheese, but in bursts. So for example, like I enjoy, say, chocolate, as a lot do, and yet it's one of those things where I'll go through like different phases. A lot of us do, I suspect. Where we'll have one favorite, and then it'll be something else for a while, and something else after that, and so on and so forth. So... Oh, what did I not bring as a bed? I have a gazillion beds. I didn't bring one. This didn't land in the fountain. Yeah, Birds and Psycho, exactly. Exactly. Rear Window is actually a good one as well. I grew up on my parents liking Jimmy Stewart movies, so Rear Window was a good one. We've nailed that one. What have we got now? Oh, yuck. Yuck. I'm fairly certain there's some in the Anne of Green Gables book series, but I can't for the life of me think of them at the moment. But usually when they say people died from disease, the vast majority of the time in these books, it's always like consumption or tuberculosis. I wanted a bed. That's what I was here for. Where's the bed box? There we go. Why I have a bed box? I was going to say I'm not particularly sure, but I do remember now. Let's go yellow this time. Alright, so now we have beds. What's this? Oh, okay, that's the mapping or pathing project. Can I land? Can I? Ooh. I know I should be able to on a spot this big, but Delenn being Delenn, that's not a guarantee. Feels funny in a UK-themed attempting to be medieval space, and I'm sitting here, you know, cutting down mangrove. It's just funny. I mean, I want the color, of course, but it's my lore logic behind why I want the mangrove wood in here is actually specifically for the color, because they could have painted their walls red, and in Minecraft, unless we do red wood, we have no choice of how we... like, painting the walls isn't an option. Can you imagine how weird, or what sort of insanity would ensue? Probably positive, but if they offered, like a single surface paint gun in this game. My kids play Scrap Mechanic, and you could definitely repaint your car after or whatever your construction is with the paint gun. You still have to use dyes and all that kind of stuff to make the paint, but can you imagine what would it be like if we had a paint sprayer or something like that in Minecraft? I think we would get a lot of interesting creativity out of that. Ooh, which book was that, Benson? I'm unfamiliar with the character. I mean, I guess one could also name a bunch of biographies, but that's sort of cheating. That's not really a literary character. Another one that actually, strangely enough, shows up in some good classic books, as I understand it, is some sort of, I think it's encephalitis, but basically it's one of the things that makes the characters go crazy, so they end up with brain issues that make them go absolutely nuts, and then things happen. They don't really die of the disease, often they die as a result of whatever they did from disease influence. Case I'm thinking of in that example would be something along the lines of Jane Eyre, where one of the characters is nuts because the scholars have said that it's supposed to be a reference to encephalitis, but one of the characters is nuts, and they end up with death in a house fire, which is really creepy, because that's not something I would ever want to have happen to anybody. Ah, gotcha. You know, it's funny, the Geek-Out game is asking a lot of really, I'd say, weird questions, maybe? I don't know if good questions is probably the way of putting it, but it's definitely asking a lot of weird questions. Ow. Isn't there a TV situation in the classic Little Women? I can't recall that one either. Okay, this one? What am I missing here? Roots and Propagule. What am I... Something must have glitched through, because I'm not seeing Roots and Propagule that have been dropped. There's one. I guess the other must be on the other side? Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's put another one down. Is nothing self-grown? Oh, let's rinse and repeat the rotation then. If I can find them. Oh, Well, I can't say I need to grow another cherry if I didn't actually put a cherry down. Silly Dell. Mistakes were made. Okay, there we go. Let's put that down. Yes, exactly. Okay, good. I knew somebody would cover my back. It's been so long since I've read that one. I keep wanting to get my daughter to read it with me. Just because I figured she's at that age where she hasn't quite reached the teenage no, but hasn't quite necessarily gotten out of where I can influence her to that point, as in like, hey, read a book with me. But yeah, it's not it's not happening. Those sorts of books are just not her cup of tea. Okay, so this I need to pay more attention to saplings on this one. Yeah, well, I mean, there's plenty of people too that drive for work, for example, and when they have to do that, they actually have trouble keeping up with anything. An audiobook. It's actually interesting because some people say an audiobook helps you focus, but other people say actually that people tend to focus on the audiobook rather than on the driving, which is a little bit of a scary concept. I used to love audiobooks when I was a kid, growing up on going like 5.5 hour drives to my grandmother's place in the prairies. There is a point at which you get sick and tired of going, oh, hey, that's a canola field. Oh, hey, that's a peas field. Oh, and or that one's got alfalfa. Like, I mean, it's that I can name that is kind of making the point. But there we go. Mangrove grew on its own. So we used to love a lot of the audiobooks, but creepily enough, there's a certain Winnie the Pooh audiobook that I can't listen to without remembering a traffic accident that we were in. So yeah, it's just odd, and it's partly my fault, I guess. I wasn't driving because I was like, I don't know, 6 or something. Maybe not quite that young. 8, I guess, maybe. But yeah, we enjoy audiobooks along the way. Oops. The thing I do like about audiobooks, actually of late, audiobooks are the reason that I had, or podcasts, I guess, are the reason that I had to change my GPS voice that I use in the car. Right now it's something goofy because it just was available, but I actually had to change it away from the default that actually had street names and stuff for my region, because the American style voices were too close to what I was hearing in the audiobook reading, and so I was actually not necessarily picking up on the difference between the GPS directions and the audiobook. So I had to change that away. That's part of why I went with UK voices. And then there's times where I'm listening to, like, Stephen Fry narrating Sherlock Holmes or something, and then I have to use a US voice just to catch the difference. Otherwise I miss my directions and miss my turnoff. And I can do that frequently enough without help from the podcasts and audiobooks that I don't need to make it worse. Yeah, I mean, podcasts I can do more driving now than audiobooks, but there's certain audiobooks I can do because, like Sherlock Holmes ones or Harry Potter ones, I've read them so many times that I can zone out of them and not have missed anything. So that's easy peasy lemon squeezy, I guess you could say, in that respect. Okay, let's see if we can get some chop down and then head to bed, because more leaves. Fine, let's go to bed instead. Doo-dee-doo. But I love audiobooks, and sometimes it's neat to have different readers. Some people will read an audiobook directly, and what I mean is they'll just read it. And some of them will try and do some sort of inflection or voices or something when there's a gender change, or if there's a character type change. So for example, we were listening as a family for a while to a novelization of I think it was Star Wars Force Awakens. Didn't get through that one. It was partly before, or just before my son decided that he was going to be really picky about not liking movies 7, 8, and 9 and anti-Disney editions. Anyway, just mostly where it changed the story away from some of the stuff he'd read before. But, point to this part of the commentary is that, there we go. Point to that part of the commentary was to say that they had one that was trying to do, they didn't do so well on the voices of male versus female, but their reading style definitely took on a more monotone, robotic, Ben Stein kind of thing going on when they were talking about things said by the robots versus things said by the humanoid characters, and I thought that was kind of a neat touch. Okay, yeah, that was an interesting one. I wish I could take credit for that, but no. It appeared in the Star Wars franchise. Oh shoot. Daisy Ridley and... The Star Wars franchise is huge now. There's probably a few who could name some from, say, Andor, including Andy Serkis, actually. That's another one that had just occurred to me. And we've got a few from... Some people can probably name the stuff from Boba Fett and Mandalorian and so on. James Earl Jones. Here's a did you know about James Earl Jones? Probably. I mean, a lot of people know that James Earl Jones voiced Darth Vader, but did you know that in the original theatrical release of Star Wars, James Earl Jones is not credited at all? So, yeah. Apparently he decided that. It wasn't necessarily they offered kind of thing. I mean, the studios were cheap, and if they don't have to put more names on the screen, it was cheaper for them. But that James Earl Jones was not credited because he was, from his point of view, he was not an actor, and he kind of thought this was sort of like a weekend whatever gig. No big deal. And he never really thought it was going to become this big thing. And then so they didn't actually credit him as the voice of Darth Vader until Empire Strikes Back. And then all future releases of Star Wars New Hope, which were, of course, it was originally Star Wars, then all future releases have his name credited, but in the original theatrical it wasn't. Exactly. Four actors who appear in the Star Wars franchise. And for Fantastic Shock Fox responds, and the guy who plays Mando. I know what you're getting at. I have those moments too, but it's really, I'd love to do that. No, and the lady who plays Bo-Katan. Yeah. I'm sorry, I just had to pull that one out. Pedro Pascal, for sure. You love, Bazinga? This was a gift from Fantastic Sherlock Fox, but yeah, giveaway, if you actually are able to see the small text. I live in Western Canada, and our major telco is TELUS, so they've sponsored our science center, and it's called Spark, TELUS Spark. But yeah, it's definitely the reference to Big Bang Theory television show. Zynga. And one of the reasons I love Big Bang Theory, I mean, there's a lot of people that just liked it just because they were sort of fun characters and whatnot. But they did a good job in the show because they used a lot of nerdy language and actually got it checked, because I've seen interviews with some people who were science consultants, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so they actually were correct on some of the terminology and a lot of the nerdy stuff, but they made other parts of it just unnerdy enough that more people could identify with it. So you felt nerdier than you really were, kind of thing, and I quite liked it for that. And for a while, there was a time when Parsons, who played, oh goodness. Anyway, one of the major characters is Jim Parsons, He used to say in interviews that he was kind of thrilled when they made his Sheldon. Thank you. I was going to say Sherman, but that's Peabody and Sherman. Anyway, but he was initially thrilled when they made his character have a thing for Star Trek, and a lot of them were goofy Star Trek fans as the characters. But he was kind of impressed because at one point he used to want to actually get a role on the Star Trek series, and figured that he never would. He just wanted, some sort of uniformed character. And then by the time his character had actually played, or by the time he had actually played Sheldon on Big Bang, he realized that having a Star Trek role is not what he wanted after all. It's like, okay, good. He got part of it's because he got the option to actually deal with people like Wil Wheaton and so on, and Wheaton admits that he can be a jerk at times, and so Sheldon was like, why would I want to, or Parsons was, why would I want to do that? But it's neat because the one who played his girlfriend on the show, or not his girlfriend, girlfriend anyways, that gal was not classically trained as an actor at all. Never did any acting school or anything like that, but she said that she has a somewhat photographic memory, which means that it made it a little bit easier for her to memorize scripts. And that's good news, except that on that show, apparently there was quite a lot of changing things on the fly. So they would change a line or a bit of scene and be funnier if, or, well, this character actually really would more do this other thing, and they would change stuff on the fly. And so she'd actually, rather than being able to memorize just that page, she unfortunately would lose chunks of what she had memorized and have to sort of re-look at the whole thing as a big picture, and that was tough because she said that was tougher because it's a lot of script to memorize. And it's like, oh well, yeah, particularly for such a recurring character that's quickly got more and more lines. Yeah, Mayim Bialik, yeah. Well, that's part of why she went into being a PhD neuroscientist, was because she could memorize portions of her textbooks and choose which portions of the information she felt she was going to use every day, in a bit of a Sherlockian kind of connection. That sounds bizarre. The concept there is related to, I guess you could say, as they did in the bad Sherlock series, or bad part of the Sherlock series, they had the Mind Palace stuff. I just didn't like the way they put that across. Not that it was a bad idea. But the older reference in Holmes has to do with everybody having sort of an attic. In Britain, they call it a lumber room, so Bob might be able to fill us in more. But the idea being you can only store so much in your attic, in your mind attic, so in a way. And so by only being able to store so much, then pardon me, then some things have to get forgotten in order to keep the stuff that's relevant. And so when it comes to some of the scientists and stuff, they're nerds partly because, yes, sometimes they know useless information, but other times they can just rattle off real facts because that's what they use day in and day out. Having dated somebody like that for a while, it can be an interesting experience. But the fact that Mayim Bialik was able to repurpose her ability into learning scripts rather than scientific material was kind of nice. But the other thing, as you point out, she, being a scientist herself, could also fact-check easily and realistically her own information. So sometimes she admits she's part of the cause of some of the script changes because she'd say, oh, no, that's completely wrong. There's no way anybody would say that. Or thanks for another correct mumbo-jumbo kind of word. New one. So the current Geek Out has switched, and thank heavens for that. Oh, it's actually, let me back it up. So on Big Bang Theory set, fun fact, they found actual uranium on set too. They had the Geiger counter, and it was a legit old one that was radioactive. Oh, lovely. So you're saying that the Geiger counter itself had become radioactive? That's when you should get rid of it. That's kind of scary. during that piece, since we covered the question, the new Geek Out has switched out and become the 2 actors who have played news anchors, reporters, or Wet Herman. Sorry. Here, I didn't expect that at all. Mini games, Geek Out. Let's make this box just a little lot larger.
You see what low grade you made on your
Nope.
mathematics test?
Okay.
More than half
Properties.
Most of those who passed just got by. Nobody had a
But we'll make it up to... Give it extra. Oops. You guys are seeing this change as I go. Sorry. Let's try that. Okay, we got space now. Wet Herman. Right, can I get the bed in here? Can I sleep on a tree? Yay! Sleep on a tree. Oh yes, okay. I see. Yeah. When one, I was aware that when one decommissions a Geiger counter, they're supposed to take that piece out. But yeah, as I understand it, the reason that the uranium actually exists in them has to do with something to do with molecular pairing. Not like the opposite spinning atom stuff. It's all deep science, pardon me. But as I understand, the molecular pairing in that if one is being radioactive, then it will actually slightly turn the other piece radioactive, which is what is able to be measured. But apparently that only happens if they pair up. So if you have just the one element, so the stuff you're trying to measure without anything in the counter, then you won't actually be able to measure anything. Which is an interesting concept. News anchors, reporters, weathermen. Trying to think who else would be reporters. Oh, I guess actually we've got 2 actors. Mary Tyler Moore was one for sure on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, because she worked at a news agency with, what's his name? The character was Lou something or other, but I used to know the actor's name. Anyway, so there's that sort of stuff. We've got 2. We've got plenty. So let's roll this one. Don't know why the term tiny piece wouldn't actually be appropriate, but who knows. So 4 films in which Bill Murray appears. Those are fun. So we can easily say Ghostbusters, get that one out of the road.
Suppose Mr. Grimes had tried another approach.
Yep, exactly. Benson got it, just as I said it, which is perfect. We're on the same way, like Caddyshack and St. Vincent. Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Yep, he's the star. He's the star of Groundhog Day. Nailed it. Exactly. Nailed it. One of my favorites, actually, is What About Bob? My ridiculous story about Bill Murray, I have ridiculous stories about a lot of things, but my ridiculous story about Bill Murray is that I had trouble focusing in my one and only computer programming course that I took in college, because the instructor looked and sounded like a doppelganger for Bill Murray, which was a bit of a distractor. So I had trouble focusing on what he was telling me in class, because I kept seeing the Bill Murray character's What About Bob style. Or Bill Murray characters. The Bill Murray What About Bob character. I can't remember what the character played. I think it's Bob. But in any case, yeah, that was a bit of a problem for me. I have a problem with star spotting in general. People who look like certain movie stars, or people who are certain famous people, and it's caused me problems in multiple situations. Just ask Fantastic Sherlock Fox. If you like Richard Dreyfuss, then you'll like What About Bob? Because Bob is the character in there where Dreyfuss is playing a psychologist, I guess? Psychologist, psychiatrist, basically therapist of some sort. And Bob is his very, very needy, very, very challenging patient. Yes, that's the short version, because Bob gets all over the place. Bob becomes, for lack of a better term, Bob becomes a stalker while he's at it. So that's not what anybody needs. Right in the middle? There we go. Alright, next. What do you have, sir? These kelps, I swear they look like tongues. Okay, so I don't have kelp, but other than that, I can get everything, so no. Sir? I think it's time to fire you and your llamas. 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 The llamas or llamas in your world? I didn't know. I was looking up target blocks the other day. Hey, buddy. Come here. Thank you. I was looking at target blocks the other day just to try to find out about them. And, turns out that I did not know you can trigger a target block with llama spit. I don't know why you'd want to, but just the idea I can is kind of neat. Alright, let's grab a box, because I'm going to end up with way too much stuff. Full. Don't need this. Don't need that. Or this, or that. Did I not pick... Oh, shoot. There we go. There's 1 and 2. I was gonna say, did I not pick up the leads? I have a lot of leads, but I'd rather not let them despawn if I don't have to. That one's close enough to full. That's full-ish. Just empty that out. Why not? I guess I don't need shears during this project, but I don't want to misplace them. Carpets? Sure. Sticks? Sure. Close enough. Alright. Put that one back. Alrighty. Okay, where is... That one's still growing. I can't do much with that. Let's take this one down. Totally forgot about that one. Oh, Monuments Bed. Yes. I didn't realize it was in your queue, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. We have a few movies we should see. We have a few that we should see. There we go. And I could always compost these leaves, but why? I've got far too many sources of compost as it is. I think. Any other Bill Murrays? I think we've gotten beyond 4, so let's see what else we've got. Oh. Okay. I have no clue. I mean, there's several episodes where, you know, a character's had a birthday episode, but the stuff that Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I watch would be the kind of thing where someone would comment, oh, it's a birthday, and that's it. They would just keep on keeping on. Or in some cases, if he's watching shows with me, it's stuff where you don't want them to have a birthday episode because then they end up dead. Just because I like mysteries. I mean, there's other shows we've watched too that aren't quite that way. Things like, I'm pretty sure I've watched an episode of, I guess it's not really a TV show, sort of more of a podcasty show called Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they had because it's your birthday today, let's talk about such and such, whatever your favorite random topic is. Or, because it's your birthday, we're going to throw the script out the window and you talk about whatever you want. That kind of thing. Ah! Full circle! Something tells me that, speaking of full circle, there's probably an episode involving a birthday somewhere in the Full House TV show. My brain wants to say Kimmy, but I don't think so. But I don't know, I'm probably making that one up. It just feels like there probably was one. I guess the floor or the ground underneath me is pretty thin when I can hear mobs that clearly. So I did one there. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay, good. I'm not totally nuts. Well, yeah. Not totally is probably a good way of putting it. Had a boy come and sing to her. Well, at least it wasn't, oh geez, what's his name? Are you kidding me? The ground is thin enough, I can't sleep because there's monsters below me. Really? Okay, that's ridiculous. $15? Okay. I may keep it short today because not just the voice and the tech issues, but also... Oh, there was one. Not just the voice and the tech issues, as usual, but also that I do have things to do today for camp, so I want to make sure I get as much done as I can in real life, just for stress reasons. Boink. But I will be back this evening, probably about 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's more of an about than the morning one. The evening ones are a little bit easier for me to target pretty close. So we can kind of bank on that one. And so definitely, I'm going to be in the Java world simply because at the moment I don't trust the Bedrock world, and I'll try and troubleshoot later this evening and see if I can figure out what on earth is causing it to be so awful. That's an interesting one. I don't think I've seen it grow like that before. It's like it's an acacia trying to be a spruce. But if I can get organized this evening, then we'll try and figure out where we want to start putting some of the sorting items. Because, of course, I squirrel enough around here that I'm doing a lot of manual sorting, which is completely and utterly inefficient. And I need to change that part of the game, or change my game in that category. Aha. See, I'd had a tree over here. Somehow it got over there. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely going to do something new, well, it's new, but sorting-wise, moving things. One of the other things I thought about is I've got a, what's the word? Let's go over here. Yeah, the mob farm, that's what I'm looking at. So I've got a mob farm And I'm also turning on collision of blocks, so... Aw, man, I can't get down there because I didn't leave the trapdoor open. Oh, I did. Okay, close enough. So I've got a mob farm down here that flushes and does its thing. Well enough. I mean, it's okay. But what I'm thinking is I hate going down here. Just, it's not a fan. And I probably won't do it on camera because I've done these twice before. And I don't really want to go all the way down to the ground. But I'm thinking about building one from ground up again. Build another one. Yes. And let's see if I can get out of here. Oh. My camera's a little herky-jerky. There we go. But when you do block collision, you have to get out the correct way. There we go. Yeah. But I'm thinking instead of taking the... Oh, shoot. Over in here where I'm not going to fly because I don't want to look below the ground, there is a very, very large divot, I guess is probably a better way of putting it. And I'm thinking of moving the mob farm over there. Because then at least parts of the day, there won't be mobs harassing it, but then that makes it easier to potentially build a sorting system that comes from the mob farm up underneath into the castle, and then we can put that into our sorting system. That's the place you crashed. Yeah, not surprised. Yeah, if you fly over the render and then don't see the rest of this coming in, I've crashed into the wall of the castle a couple times. So that's one of the plans, is to potentially move that over there. I know we've built it before. It's not super exciting to see it built again, but it is something we can do. And then these two north buildings will disappear, probably for storage purposes. And this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it disappear or if I'm going to just reuse it for all the wool and such. We'll have to see. But stuff needs to get done. Okay. That's where we're at. We're going to do something a little different. I haven't quite figured it out. We'll sort, figure that out between now and the evening, and we'll be back on the Java world. Okay, let's do one more cherry. Yes, is this one enough? Good, okay. One of the reasons that I was not sticking around and doing this one over and over and over again in a row is I'd have to do a lot of manually pulling down the cherry blossoms. Even with a hoe, it's just annoying. But as with all new types of leaves, usually starts out having a glitch of some sort or error of some sort where with the leaves over top you can't force a tree to grow underneath it. And so it's a lot of that. My thought had been if I can actually get it to despawn on its own, then we've got everything covered. You like that crater? Yeah. I wouldn't have picked that joke for anything, but that's hilarious. Love it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. The other thought I had of what to do with that crater is actually build a giant fox in it. But that didn't seem to fit the theme of what we're looking at. And so I kind of wanted excuses. Excuses for just about everything. Alright, let's go build another one of these. So these leaves are just about gone. Go. And then we have just about all of the woods, at least in small quantity, to choose from. The one kind I didn't bring, and I haven't actually grown any of them, is the jungle. So we're going to throw some jungles out here too, at some point. And I'm not doing too well here. I chopped it down, but I didn't put a replacement. Do you really want Lego? I'm just asking. It's convenient, but I also want to make sure that's something you really want as opposed to a mod good idea. Because we can do that. Okay, sure. Sounds cool. Sounds cool. Can do. This is the time where one can chill, stretch your legs, etc. Let's get back on this tree. And I will disconnect while I'm on the top of the tree. Just because my kind of luck would not work all that well. So I'm just going to set the other one up and be right back with you. All right, we're back. So, the lighting's a little bit screwball, but that's just the way it wanted to cooperate today. So we are on step 57, where we've got the top flat edge here of our little piece that can sit. I'm just going to set the timer. Where did I put the timer? There we go. Okay, so it's got a 5-minute countdown. And here it goes. No idea where that timer text went, but that's okay. We will figure that out. So, we have this one, and we're going to put a couple little pieces of gray on the top. Oops, nope. There's one. And two. Come on. Apparently I am challenged today. And then rotate it down. Put a square window. And an arch. Alright. Oops, he's ready to double roll. What have we got here conversationally? Okay. So then we've got a couple of bits. So like this, we can see close enough. And then I need two glowing type pieces, conical ones. And a dark gray hinge. A light gray, one of those things, whatever those are. One of these. There we go. Fantastic Sherlock Fox has been printing me some boxes for some of my Lego bits, so I've got a lot more sorted than I used to. But I still have to figure out the best way to use them. And I forgot one piece. There we go. Starts on that side. Part 3. He's behind on the printing too. Too much time printing base plates. Yeah, my son wanted white base plates because he's a fan of the Hoth setup in Star Wars. But unfortunately, LEGO doesn't make white base plates anymore for snow themes. So, Fantastic Sherlock Fox kindly brought in a bunch of the white filament to do 3D printing with. and has been printing base plates for my son. For our son, I guess. Okay, so we need one more little piece like that, and a square that looks like a seat, kind of. There we go, it's this one. And I've got a clear spot. There we go. Oops. This one goes on the front there, next to that piece, and then 3 pieces, which is good. It connects pieces together so they don't fall. Sub 2 minutes left of Lego. Itchy eye. That's cheating, I suppose, the itchy eye part. What have we got? So I need the little black tubey thing. And then, is it light gray or dark gray? Light gray. So light gray, lots of box. This one, and one with a thing on it. Come on, you silly square. I'm gonna see it after our timer runs out. Isn't that how it works? There we go. This one. And 2 silver top pieces. 1 and 2. Alright. But then these little connector pieces are actually being used to hold up a slide-in card that we have not got put on here yet because that comes far later. Oops. And sliding cards are cool. They're like 3D rotational stuff. Those like the rulers and stuff we used to get as kids, where you tip it side to side and the picture changes. There we go. Feels like I haven't got it straight when these 2 hinges aren't close enough together, but it could just be a warp in the plastic. Alright. 10 seconds. Can I get the next pieces on? Let's find out. 1 and 2. Apparently not. There we go. Alrighty. And that brings us to the end of our Lego time, as well as the end of our stream. So let's just see if we can find someone interesting to raid into. Pardon me. Raid. Who's here? Well, I think we're going to head ourselves into the Ricky Roy. That's probably our best bet. He's on Rocktropolis, but he's going to be doing some Spawn Island planning. I think that sounds like a good one to head on into. And thank you everybody who came by today. I really do appreciate it. We'll try and see if we can get ourselves technologically figured out so we can get a little bit more done on the Bedrock Solo World, but also maybe get some projects underway for the Java stuff so we've got things on the go. So let's get that raid started. Where is my cheaty button? Wrong screen. Scroll back. There we go. And that raid started.
Mischief managed.
Mischief managed. Alright, so you're seeing the emotes pop up there. Feel free to choose whichever ones appeal to you, or use others if you prefer. Thank you very much today for the resubscription, Captain Mama. I really do appreciate that. Also, thank you to Fantastic Sherlock Fox for spending some of your clues, and to Benson and Fantastic Sherlock Fox for being our moderators today. Thank you to Bob, Springer Shadow, and Craftin' Mama for being our chatting subscribers, as well as Tim Dog and JF Birdblue for coming in. If you were not mentioned and you were just hanging out, I want to say thank you as well for dropping in and making my day. I really do appreciate it when everybody comes by, and hope that everyone will have themselves a great day. I will see you briefly on the flip side, and I will be back this evening at about 7 p.m. Eastern, or that actually comes out as 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'll be back then. Until then, bye-bye for now.